Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Logline Lab. I say hello, friends. I've finally checked my views for the very first time since I started the podcast, and it's pretty much zero. So, hello, me. uh, which is fine. No candle today. Um, I wanted to do this because I've been doing this in my head for years, coming up with stories, and I just wanted to document it and do something a little bit more serious with it than it just living in my head. Hence the podcast. So really, I'm just enjoying myself, and talking to myself out loud instead of just in my head. Anyway, so I had these ideas for stories. And again, a lot of these ideas are stories that like I wouldn't necessarily want to sit down for however long it takes to write a script and come up with the full length of the script. Just the initial idea that excites me, and then just put it out there. I, of course, don't really post the ideas that I know I'm going to be working on for sure. So, anyway, the point is, I wanted to do a murder mystery, which is not something I necessarily, want to write so much. But I do enjoy thinking about them and, what would I come up with if I wanted to at all? So, I wanted to do a murder mystery. And I've seen a few, true crime shows and stuff. And so I was playing with the idea that it's generally harder for them to understand or to find the killer or to find a profile when a murder happens and they're not related to the person, right? It's not a crime of passion, and it's not they didn't know, the victim didn't know the attacker, the assailant, the murderer. It just happened to be a accident or a coincidence. Yeah, wrong place, wrong time type of thing. So I wanted to do. I like to challenge. I wanted to do something with that. Challenge myself with that kind of idea. So I came up with this idea. Let's see if we can develop it a little bit. So it's been a cold case for a long time. Let's say a decade, right? So it's been a decade of this cold case, and this detective is absolutely obsessed with wanting to solve this. If you want to put some stakes on it, some personal stakes, it would be like this detective has a perfect record and it doesn't want to retire without finishing this case because then it'll be like a perfect career type of thing. Easy stakes, nothing too uh, just to give it a personal spin. So it's been a decade. This case has now gone cold. Maybe it's longer than that. Hell, it's not longer than that. 2 decades maybe. And so it hasn't gone resolved until finally, after more and more digging or some clues that pop up after a while. I don't know what those clues would be. These are details that are like more script driven, but script developed. As you sit deeper and deeper with the story, you start to develop a lot more details, but whatever. And like somebody re-entered the country and they got fingerprinted and it finally matched. And so they had another lead to follow, and they got some more of the story to figure out what happened. But really, what I had in mind is what happened in this murder actually was that there was a person who wanted to start a new life and fake their own death, be gone to everybody, fake their own death, and then leave. And they hired a hitman. But the hitman did his job. The problem is they got the wrong person. And so the hitman ended up killing somebody else, and that's the crime that's been left unsolved because the hitman and this person, there were absolutely no correlations. It was a complete mistake on the hitman's part. And so since there were no crossfire clues or anything that would link them together, that's how it went unsolved, because it was a wrong place, wrong time type of thing. And since the hitman was kind of a professional, even though they got the identity wrong, they were able to not leave too many clues behind to get back to them. But anyway, yeah. So it was a story about a detective who finally figures out after 2 decades that they could never figure out who it was because the the person who died just didn't wrong place, wrong time, and the hitman made a mistake and got away with it. And the person who faked their own death, maybe like after 2 decades, they came back in the country or whatever. They were able to disappear into their new life, but then came back. And got maybe guilt, or somebody recognized them, or something went off, or maybe they changed their mind again and came back. And the story was put together again. Those are details, but the idea that I had in mind was that the crimes that are wrong place, wrong time, no correlation to the death, are harder to solve. And I was like, oh, there could be a movie here. There could be a whole movie here about like this detective going crazy, obsessed. It's their last case. They want to retire, but they want their record. They're too proud. They want their record to be 100. Yeah. Don't know what that logline is gonna. The logline is probably just gonna tell the whole story without really telling what the film would really dive into, just a concept. But so that's the idea I had for a movie. Put that logline together. And then there was another idea that I had. I was trying to write a horror, and I came up with a different idea than a horror, like a sci-fi, Jurassic Park type thing. Again, I'm not too crazy about sitting down. Sorry, let me just write some notes about the last one. Case is solved. Okay. So I wanted to come up with a horror film, and I ended up I came up with a horror film as well, animal horror. But this one is an idea that's sort of related to that one, but that I wanted to develop a little bit more. So the story is an island pops up out of nowhere. The marine biologists know that there was never an island there to begin with. They've been in that area many times, but an island suddenly pops up, and so this team goes to investigate it, I suppose you could say. And they find out that it's a species that we've never heard of before. It's brand new. They know nothing about it. They've never seen it before. It's not even something that went extinct at one point. It's a completely sort of new species that has never been is not of knowledged. Anyway, so the fascinating part about this that I had in mind is that this island is one species of creatures. And so the island itself is one member of this species. It's like an underwater, like a turtle, and the house at the back of the turtle is basically the island. So it's a giant turtle, and it has tentacles too, and stuff like that. And on top of the island live the other members of the species. And so in this species, you only need one of each, and one of each creature in the species, and they're all really born or exist because they have their own purpose within that species, and they all live in the island and never go anywhere else. They just are its own organism. It's various members of the same species living on a member of the species, and that's it. That's their kind. And so there's the island itself is one of the species, and then there's the ancient creature, which is the first one ever of that species that was ever that ever was. And so that's the ancient one, and it lives on the, obviously, it's part of the structure of the island species. And it's the oldest one. It's the very first one that was born and hasn't died. And then there's the mother creature. And so the mother creature is basically, her function is to give birth whenever they need a new species. So when one member of the species dies, she births what they need. So there's so let's see. There's the mother. There's the ancient. There's the island species. There's a hunter that would exist to help them feed and stuff like that. There's the cleaner, the species that only literally its purpose is to clean the island and keep everything clean. There's the protector, the guardian, so it would be like a more stocky type of character that would protect if something comes to attack or whatever. It would be the one to step up and do that. Another maybe like forager, hunter, maybe that would be the same. But things like that. So that's it. That's an island, and various. It's the same species, but they have their own look. And they're born for a purpose. And so let's oh, and the healer, yes. And then there's a healer in that species as well, just in case they do, get hurt or whatever. They need a healer, and so there's a healer as well of this species. And so when one of them dies, the mother uh, becomes pregnant all on her own, just the power of the mind. They have these there's a in this species, they know what they need, they construct it in their mind, and then they bring it into existence, into manifestation, physical form. So and of course, if the mother dies, they're all, what do you call, they're all multi-gender or not genderless. Basically, they all have the ability to generate within themselves the parts that then become the mother. So then, for example, if the mother died, then the forager would then morph into the mother figure, give birth to another forager. Does that make sense? Right. So that would be it. And so in the story, basically, what's happening is, in the species, their healer has just died, and so the mother is now creating, in the process of creating a new healer for the species. And for that birth to happen, it has to happen on air, outside of the ocean, because the species lives mostly underwater in the ocean, in the darkness. That's how they haven't been discovered yet. But when it gives birth to something, it has to come up for air and be in the air, be out of the water long enough to give birth, and then they can go back, right? Listen, it's science fiction, and it's a species we've never seen. We can play with these rules. I don't know how any of this works, but if I wanted to write this, it would make sense. Anyway, it could be like fantasy or supernatural or whatever genre gives us the ability to bend rules. So in the story, their healer has died. They come back to the surface because the mother is pregnant and has to give birth to another healer. And so they have to be above water long enough for her to give birth, which is long enough. So that in that time, the group of marine biologists find her, like see it, and then try to go to the island and figure out what this is that they've never seen, and study it, right? And then at the same time, they announced, oh, we found this thing, we've never seen it before, and the material is incredible. And then the military hears about this, and of course they do their own they come to do their own investigation, and they realize that the material that the island is made of, so like the carcass, the ground, the back of the island creature, it's actually the strongest kind of material they've ever seen. Like, so it would be the equivalent of whatever's the Marvel universe is, like, God, I cannot remember the name of it. you know, the Black Panther thing. They have the strongest type of or whatever. What we could come up with a new thing for the story. Again, those are all script related details that we don't really need for a log line. But um, point is, the military finds out that this is an incredibly strong, one of the strongest pieces of material they want, and of course they want to take it for themselves to create weapons and to create improve their defense mechanisms and stuff. What else does the military want? um, so we have the military who now wants to exploit and take advantage of this species. We've got the at all costs. Let's raise the stakes at all costs. And then we have the marine biology team who doesn't want to hurt the species, doesn't want that to happen. They don't know, right, that they know that's not right. And they figure out that what the species is about. And they also want to protect the species from the military's exploitation. And then we have the species, the creature, who doesn't know the humans from nowhere. They've clearly never interacted before, and then these guys try to come and scrape its materials away. Then that's not okay with them. But they also don't know if they can trust the marine biology team because, well, these are humans and those are humans. Those are trying to hurt us. So what are these guys doing? We can't trust them. And so it becomes like a triangle war, a triangle like dramatic and conflict of the creatures. Like, just they'll if they get triggered enough, they'll try to kill whatever is hurting them. And of course, the humans are not trying to hurt the species and trying to get the military to stop. And then the military doesn't give a damn if they need to hurt and do whatever they need to do by force. They will. And yeah, that was a story that I came up, but I just fell in love with this idea of a creature island. And this one species that has never been before, and then in this species of creatures, they all are just one of each kind that they need just to sustain life. And that when they need one more, they can just birth it and then disappear back into where they're comfortable and when they live where they live. So anyway, those were the ideas that I have for you this week. Yep. All right, cool. I think I have everything I need. I'll try to. They're stories that, like, the log line probably is gonna sound like the concept, like a very long concept line, rather than like this amazing protagonist antagonist hook type of thing. But it's whatever. I'll just do that instead. I get to do what I want. This is my channel. All right, cool. I'll see you guys next time for more. And yeah, I'll see you just in a minute for the log lines. A Reasonable Silence. Murder Mystery. A detective determined to retire with a perfect career record reopens his only unsolved case and finally discovers that the victim was accidentally killed by a hitman hired to fake someone's death to vanish into a new life. Would you watch or pass? Put it in the comments. Creature Island. Sci-fi. When a living island unlike anything on Earth surfaces where none existed before, a team of marine biologists must protect its ancient species from a military operation hell-bent on weaponizing its advanced biology. Would you watch or pass? Put it in the comments.